warm welcome everyone. We'll continue with chapter 2 of unit 1 Beehive, the sound of music. In the last video I had explained part 1 of this chapter and we had read and understood about Evelyn Glennie. Alright, and we had seen how she became a multi-percussionist. She became so famous because of her strong will, because of her determination. Though she was deaf, she could feel music, and because she could feel music through her body, she was able to express it beautifully. Alright, and because of that, her audiences were excited to listen to her music. We'll continue with the sound of music. Today we have part 2 and we are going to do about the Shehnai of Bismillah Khan. He is the Shehnai maestro of India, Bismillah Khan. So we are going to read about Bismillah Khan and his Shehnai. So take out your book and be ready. Part 2, the Shehnai of Bismillah Khan. Now you see they have given some pictures here of different Indians who play different musical instruments. You can see with the flute Hari Prasad Chaurasia, then you can see Pandit Ravi Shankar there with sitar. You have the violin sisters Lalita and Nandini. With tabla you have Ustad Zakir Hussain. Then on sarod you have Amjad Ali Khan. On violin you have Kunnakudi Vaidyanathan. Then on sarangi you have Abdul Latif Khan. And finally the last picture is there of Ustad Bismillah Khan with his Shehnai. So we are going to read about him and his Shehnai. Think of the Shehnai and the first thing you'll probably imagine is a wedding or a similar occasion or function. Shehnai, very auspicious during wedding and different functions. So whenever we think about a wedding and all, we imagine as we enter the Shehnai player sitting there and playing that music. The next would probably be Ustad Bismillah Khan. And when you think of Shehnai, automatically who comes into our mind? Ustad Bismillah Khan, because he is the Shehnai maestro of India. The Shehnai maestro playing this instrument. Emperor Aurangzeb banned the playing of a musical instrument called pungi in the royal residence, for it had a shrill, unpleasant sound. Its sound was not liked by Emperor Aurangzeb, and because of that he banned the use of this musical instrument known as pungi. Pungi became a generic name of reeded noise maker. So wind instruments made of reed. So it was made of reed and it was considered to be a noise maker. Its sound was not liked by the emperor, and because of that he banned it. Few had thought that it would one day be revived, but this pungi was revived in a new form later on. Let's see how. A barber of a family of professional musicians who had access to the royal palace decided to improve the tonal quality of pungi. Now pungi, the sound was not good, unpleasant sound, and because of that Aurangzeb banned it. Now a barber who belonged to the family of professional musicians and who had entry into the royal palace also, he decided that he is going to improve this pungi. He is going to improve the sound of this pungi. He chose a pipe with a natural hollow stem that was longer and broader than the pungi. So he took another pipe which was longer and broader than the pungi and made 7 holes on the body of the pipe. When he played on it, closing and opening some of these holes, soft and melodious sounds were produced. He played the instrument before royalty and everyone was impressed. In front of the royal family, in front of the king and his family and his ministers, he played this new instrument. And the sound was so melodious that everyone was impressed. Everyone was excited to listen to that sound. The instrument, so different from the pungi, had to be given a new name. Now pungi had an unpleasant sound. Because of that it was banned. He took another hollow stem, made holes in that, produced a new sound, a very pleasant sound, a sound which was very melodious, and everyone liked it. Now this new instrument had to be given a different name. So how it was named? Let's see. As the story goes, since it was first played in the Shah's chambers, that is the king's palace, and was played by a Nai, that is a barber, the instrument was named as the Shehnai. Shah and Nai, both were joined and it was named as Shehnai. That way this instrument got its name. This is the story behind the Shehnai. The sound of the Shehnai began to be considered auspicious, very nice, very good for important functions, mainly weddings. And for this reason, it is still played in temples and is an indispensable component of any North Indian wedding. Indispensable. You cannot do without it. It is very important, necessary. In the past, the Shehnai was part of the Naubat or traditional ensemble of 9 instruments found at royal courts. In the royal courts in the past times, 9 instruments, a group of 9 instruments was used to in performances to produce different music, and this group of 9 instruments was known as the Naubat. Till recently, it was used only in temples and weddings. The credit for bringing this instrument onto the classical stage goes to Ustad Bismillah Khan. So mainly Shehnai was being used for weddings and in temples, but Ustad Bismillah Khan brought it in front of the people onto the stage of classical Indian music, and he made it famous all over the world. As a 5-year-old, Bismillah Khan played Gilli Danda near a pond in ancient estate of Dumrao in Bihar. So when he was 5 years old, like other children, he used to play Gilli Danda and spend his time. But he would regularly go to the nearby Bihariji temple to sing the Bhojpuri Chaita, at the end of which he would earn a big laddu weighing 1.25 kg. A prize given by the local Maharaja. So to get this prize, to get this laddu, he would go to the temple to sing the Bhojpuri Chaita. Alright, it is song which is sung during the month of Chaitra. This happened 80 years ago, and the little boy has travelled far to earn the highest civilian award in India, the Bharat Ratna. So when he was 5 years old, he used to go to the temple and sing and get prize. This is a very old story, old thing. From that 5-year-old boy who used to go to the temple to sing and get laddu as a prize, today Ustad Bismillah Khan has received the highest civilian award of India, that is Bharat Ratna. Born on 21 March 1916, Bismillah belongs to a well-known family of musicians from Bihar. So he belongs to a family of musicians. His grandfather, Rasul Baksh Khan, was the Shehnai Nawaz of the Bhojpur King's court. Again, a Shehnai player. His father, Pegambar Baksh, and other paternal ancestors were also great Shehnai players. His father was a Shehnai player. Other ancestors, paternal, belonging to his father's side, they all were great Shehnai players. The young boy took to music early in life. At the age of 3, when his mother took him to his maternal uncle's house, mother's brother, maternal uncle's house in Banaras, that is now Varanasi, Bismillah was fascinated watching his uncles practice the Shehnai, and he used to watch his maternal uncles there practicing Shehnai. Soon Bismillah started accompanying his uncle Ali Baksh to the Vishnu temple of Banaras, where Baksh was employed to play the Shehnai. Then he started going to the Vishnu temple in Banaras with his uncle Ali Baksh, because his uncle was employed there and uncle used to play Shehnai there. Ali Baksh would play the Shehnai and Bismillah would sit captivated for hours on end. Ali Baksh would play the Shehnai, Bismillah would join him, and he would be like so much attracted towards that music, towards the sound of Shehnai. He would sit there for hours and listen to that music, listen to the sound of Shehnai. Slowly he started getting lessons in playing the instrument and would sit practicing throughout the day. So slowly he started playing Shehnai, he started getting his lessons and he would practice the whole day. You know, in the previous part also we had seen Evelyn. She wanted to achieve, she wanted to become a musician, she wanted to learn this, and that willpower is there, so she was ready for hard work. The same thing is here. He would also through the day he would sit practicing. For years to come, the temple of Balaji and Mangla Maiya and the banks of Ganga became the young apprentice's favorite haunts where he could practice in solitude, sitting alone, solitude, where no one would disturb him. He would sit on the banks of Ganga or the Balaji temple. He would go there and he would practice. He would sit and practice. Young apprentice, assistant to his uncle. The flowing waters of the Ganga inspired him to improvise and invent ragas that were earlier considered to be beyond the range of the Shehnai. And sitting there, he would bring out new ragas which were never considered could be played with the Shehnai. He started practicing that and he was able to play these ragas with the help of Shehnai. At the age of 14, Bismillah accompanied his uncle to the Allahabad Music Conference. At the end of his recital, Ustad Fayaz Khan patted the young boy's back and said, "Work hard and you shall make it." This is what we all should know. In order to get something, you have to work hard. Very important. So Ustad Fayaz Khan told him, work hard and you shall make it. You will become great. You will become number one. With the opening of the All India Radio in Lucknow in 1938 came Bismillah's big break. He soon became an often heard Shehnai player on radio. Alright, Akashwani, All India Radio started in Lucknow, and with that he got a chance to perform for the radio. Shehnai music, the music of Shehnai was often heard through the radio by people. When India gained independence on 15th August 1947, Bismillah Khan became the first Indian to greet the nation with his Shehnai. 15th August, a very auspicious day for India. We got independence from the British rule. And Ustad Bismillah Khan was there to play Shehnai on this auspicious day. And he played Rag Kafi. He poured his art out into the Rag Kafi from the Red Fort to an audience which included Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, who later gave his famous Tryst with Destiny speech. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru was there, and after Ustad Bismillah Khan's Shehnai playing is done, after that the famous Tryst with this Destiny speech was given by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Bismillah Khan has given many memorable performances both in India and abroad. His first trip abroad was to Afghanistan, where King Zahir Shah was so taken in by the maestro that he gifted his priceless Persian carpets and other souvenirs. Souvenirs are things that you bring from places where you go as a remembrance of that place. So he was given so many souvenirs and Persian carpets which are considered to be the best in the world. That was gifted to him. Different Persian carpets were gifted to him by the Afghani king Zahir Shah. The king of Afghanistan was not the only one to be fascinated with Bismillah's music. Film director Vijay Bhatt was so impressed after hearing Bismillah play at a festival that he named a film after the instrument called Goonj Uthi Shehnai. So, not only the king of Afghanistan loved his music, but even film director Vijay Bhatt loved his music. And he loved the music, or he loved the sound of Shehnai so much that he named a movie after Shehnai, and the name of that movie was Goonj Uthi Shehnai. The film was a hit, and one of Bismillah Khan's composition, Dil Ka Khilona Hai Toot Gaya, turned out to be a nationwide chart buster. Chart buster means a song which became a big hit, a record-breaking song. Despite this huge success in the celluloid world, that is in the film world, the silver screen, he was very famous, he became successful with his music. Despite that, Bismillah Khan's ventures in film music were limited to two. Only for two films he gave music. One was Vijay Bhatt's Goonj Uthi Shehnai and the other was Vikram Srinivas' Kannada venture Sanadi Appana. I just can't come to terms with the artificiality and glamour of the film world. He says that the film world has artificiality. Things are not natural there. And I can't relate myself to artificial things. That is why he was not able to carry on his career in the film industry. And the glamour, he was not attracted to glamour. He says with emphasis, awards and recognition came thick and fast, but he got plenty of awards. People recognized him. His work was recognized all over the world. Everyone appreciated him. Bismillah Khan became the first Indian to be invited to perform at the prestigious Lincoln Central Hall in the United States of America. He also took part in the World Exposition in Montreal, in the Cannes Art Festival and in the Osaka Trade Fair. So these are international happenings, and all these places he got a chance to exhibit his talent. So well known did he become internationally that an auditorium in Tehran was named after him. Tahar Mausiki Ustad Bismillah Khan, the name of the auditorium in Tehran. So from this we can understand how famous this person became. National awards like the Padma Shri, Padma Bhushan, Padma Vibhushan, all were conferred on him, all were given to him. In 2001, Ustad Bismillah Khan was awarded India's highest civilian award, the Bharat Ratna. He received the Bharat Ratna, the highest civilian award of India, given to someone who has really made his name and the name of India famous worldwide. With the coveted award resting on his chest and his eyes glinting with rare happiness, the award near his chest, so close to his chest, because it was very dear to him, that award, and there was shine of happiness in his eyes. What he said, all I would like to say is, teach your children music. This is Hindustan's richest tradition. Music is our tradition. Children should learn music. He told the people gathered there, teach your children music. Even the West is now coming to learn our music. Even people from the West are coming to India to learn the Indian classical music. So we should teach music to our children. They should learn about our traditions. This is what he said. In spite of having travelled all over the world, Khan Sahib, as he is fondly called, is exceedingly fond of Banaras and Dubraon, that is in Bihar, and they remain for him the most wonderful towns of the world. So he has gone everywhere in the world, but for him Banaras and Dubraon are the most wonderful towns in the world. A student of his once wanted him to head a Shehnai school in the USA. And the student promised to recreate the atmosphere of Benares by replicating the temples there. So, one of his students, he wanted to start a school in USA. And he wanted Ustad Bismillah Khan to join him there, to lead the school. And he knew that Ustad Bismillah Khan loved Benares so much. So he said, I would create an atmosphere of Benares there, all temples and things, would get it constructed similar to Banaras, so that you get that atmosphere there. But what Ustad Bismillah Khan said, let's see. But Khan Sahib asked him if he would be able to transport river Ganga as well. He said, okay, you can make the buildings, but will you be able to bring river Ganga also there? Because I love to sit near the banks of river Ganga. And we had read earlier that he used to practice on the banks of river Ganga. The different ragas which were considered to be very difficult, he practiced it there. So he asked his student, will you be able to bring river Ganga also there? Later he is remembered to have said, that is why whenever I am in a foreign country, I keep yearning to see Hindustan. He says, whenever I go on foreign trips to a foreign country, I'm just longing to come back to India. I want to see my India, my country. I can't stay for long in a foreign country. While in Mumbai, I think of only Banaras and the holy Ganga. And while in Banaras, I miss the unique Matha of Dumrao. So he said, when I am in Mumbai, I want to go to Banaras. I miss Banaras. I miss River Ganga. When I am in Banaras, I want to go to Dumrao. Because he misses these places, Banaras and Dumrao. He likes only these two towns. All over the world he has gone, but he is fascinated, attracted, and he loves only these two towns. Ustad Bismillah Khan's life is a perfect example of the rich cultural heritage of India. One that effortlessly accepts that a devout Muslim like him can very naturally play the Shehnai every morning at the Kashi Vishwanath temple. So see, this is the cultural heritage of India. A devout Muslim, a very strong Muslim person, he plays the Shehnai every morning at the Kashi Vishwanath temple. This can happen only in India. This is our tradition. This is our heritage. And we have to maintain this brotherhood of people belonging to different religions, different castes, living together. We have to maintain this. Alright. So his life is an example of the Indian culture, Indian tradition, the cultural heritage of India. Ustad Bismillah Khan passed away on 21 August 2006 at the age of 90 after a prolonged illness. Prolonged illness means he had been ill for a long time. After that, he passed away on 21st August 2006. He was given a state funeral and the government of India declared 1 day of national mourning. The whole nation mourns his death. That is national mourning. 1 day national mourning was declared on the death of Ustad Bismillah Khan. This shows how much he was respected. A simple instrument, Shehnai, with that instrument, he became famous all over the world. He made India famous everywhere in the world. And you see, when he died, state mourning or national mourning was declared by the government of India. So, he did this because of his hard work. There is one interview, a small thing is given there. One Shekhar Gupta asked him, when partition happened, didn't you and your family think of moving to Pakistan? Muslims went to Pakistan, many Muslims. So someone asked him, when partition took place, you and your family did not think of going to Pakistan. What he said? God forbid, me leave Banaras. What you are saying? You mean I am going to leave Banaras? Never. I went to Pakistan once. I crossed the border just to say I have been to Pakistan. I was there for about an hour. I said namaskar to the Pakistanis and salam alaikum to the Indians. I had a good laugh. He said, I just went for an hour just to say, people ask, yes, I have been to Pakistan, but I came back because I can't leave my Banaras. I love Banaras so much. So I can't leave and go anywhere. The banks of River Ganga, I can't leave it and go anywhere. That was his love for the country. So it is written there. He has visited places all over the world. But he was always happy when he was in Banaras, he was near the banks of River Ganga, and when he was in Dumrao. So that was his love for the country. So with this we come to the end of the second part of this chapter. And we had read about Bismillah Khan, Ustad Bismillah Khan, the Shehnai maestro of India. I hope you have understood this chapter nicely, the sound of music. Now the question answers are there. So in the next video, I'll make you write the question answers. So be prepared and be ready with your copy and pen to write the question answers. So be good and take care.